Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Karen's podcast with my besties, Megan, Susan, Carolyn, and myself, Amanda. And this week we're talking about relationships and all that comes with relationships with family, friends, lovers, and what happens if we end those relationships. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah, so this topic we've all been through, maybe cutting out a family member, losing touch with a friend, breaking up with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and sometimes we make those decisions based on just kind of what's going on in our life, or maybe what that person, they're just not healthy to be kind of in our sphere of influence anymore. So who wants to
Well,
start this week and give some
I'll
give some
start
Sounds
it,
like
but
Susan. Sounds like
well,
Susan.
no, I was just gonna say, the four of us were more than besties and we're friends. We've chosen like to be our own family, right? Like we
right.
we can pick our family. And I know that, it's just a cycle of life. We get born into things and you don't get to pick our families. But like I think the biggest conversation that I've had with a lot of people, and this is going around, some of us have experienced on this call, is at what point do you stop being friends or being involved with your family members because it doesn't suit you anymore? And are you obligated to continue to be in a relationship with them? And this can like you said earlier, this can translate into like friendships. Do you outgrow them? Do they evolve? Like, I mean, I'm surprised we're still friends. I'm not surprised. I think it's hilarious.
Way to be honest.
Well, no, it's like 30 years. We've been
No,
friends for
but
30 years. Like
it's
it's
true. And
like,
we've all gone through like Carolyn and Amanda were friends in high school. Like you
Uh-huh.
guys
yeah.
were tight. You knew each other.
Right.
Carolyn and I lived together a majority of the time when we went to college. And like Susan, you were kind of doing your own thing. But then when we all lived in the city like you and I lived in the city together,
Yeah.
then our friendship came back stronger than ever. So I do think things ebb and flow. What do they always say? Like people come into your life for a
A
reason, a
reason.
season, or a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah, I mean, I think you're correct in that sometimes things just don't suit you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of grow, you kind of change your opinions on things. Like I think I'm, definitely have stronger opinions on certain things that I didn't even have opinions on at all, or even weren't even in my, I don't know, weren't even in my universe, 20 years ago.
For sure. 100%.
Politically, money, uh, taxes,
Socially.
have lots of opinion on those. You know, didn't know didn't know the first thing about him 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to ebb and flow out of friendships than it is to ebb and flow out of family relationships.
True,
Absolutely.
true.
Well, I mean, it's, yeah,
I mean,
sometimes it happens. I mean,
But I think it's because there's this inherent, like, you're supposed to
yeah.
be in like, because they're your family, you're supposed
oh,
to be tied to
absolutely. They're your
them.
family. You have, yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, it's family's family. So it's like you have to accept everything that they do and whatnot. But I think as you get older, like, I mean, I was just talking to my sister, and as I have told you before, I kind of confronted my dad, who's been very absentee in my life, and was like, hey, if you don't want this relationship, we don't have to have it, but I'm kind of done trying. And she's like, is he still texting you every day? I was like, yeah. And she's like, not me. I was
Mm.
like, how do and she's like, don't even bother. She's like, I just feel like it's forced. If he doesn't want to text me and get a hold of me and have a relationship, then like, it's all good. I don't need to be part of that. I was like, it does kind of make me feel better every day. Like it is nice to finally like have him checking in and acknowledge and be involved. But she's like, you know what? You've been there before where you didn't want to really deal with him. And now you're in a different phase. And she's like, I'm in the phase that I don't care. It's been so long. I just don't want it to feel, you know, not natural. Um,
So
and
what's
I'm
changed, Megan? What's changed with like why has he kind of
why did I reach back out
yeah,
even?
like what's kind
I
of brought
think
that back
like
to
I
the
mean honestly I think it was the leaving of the business, and I finally
mm,
feel like I just ripped the band-aid off of a lot of things in life. where I think it was because I called him and wanted to share with him that like I'm not involved in the restaurant anymore. I'm moving from San Francisco. And our
Hmm.
conversation was 3 minutes and 36 seconds. And I hung up and was like, fuck that. Like, who, like, this is like my whole life is changing. And we spoke for 3 minutes and 36 seconds. I haven't spoken to you since, like, you didn't even pick up on Father's Day when I called you. And sorry, this is lame, but I was watching a Housewives of Miami and someone's dad had died. And she was like, you need to forgive your parents and, you should really reach out. I missed some time with my dad because we weren't, and we weren't in each other's lives. And so I was like, screw it, I'm going to call him. And then when that happened, I called him right back and I was like, do you know we just spoke for 3 minutes and 36 seconds and we haven't spoken in months? So is that the relationship you'd like to have? 10 minutes with your daughter every year. If that's what you want and that's what you like, that's totally fine. But I'm going to stop trying. I'm just going to kind of shut out. I don't need to care as much as I do.
Hmm.
And we had a really great talk about it. And, he admitted to feeling a lot of guilt and, all of those things. And so he's been checking in kind of every day, every other day, just to say, hey, how are you?
Oh, that's nice.
That's
It's
awesome.
been really
Yeah.
nice. It is.
Yeah.
I said to him, I was like, hey, do you speak to your girlfriend every day? And he's like, I
That's
do.
right. You'd
And
mentioned
I,
that before. Yeah.
and I said, did you talk to your mom every day? And he did. He talked to my grandma every day. So it's like, why should my life be any different?
Well, it
So I
sounded
think
like
just,
you just
yeah,
needed to kind of, yeah, like you said, pull off that Band-Aid.
absolutely. I mean, you guys know how long I've been dealing with this stuff
Hmm.
since
Yeah.
like my childhood.
Right.
So it's like, what? I'm going to be 50 and I'm still going to be dealing with this. Either I want to deal with it or I don't. But like,
Right.
I just want to say, like, if you don't want to be involved, we're good. But I'm just going to,
But this is
I
what's
don't think
happening with
kids,
me. Yeah.
this is what's happening with me. And I don't think kids should have to try that hard to be loved by their parents. And, I mean, we can segue right into you. Exactly. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I know it's like as we get, as we're getting older and our parents are getting older, and we've talked about this before, your, responsibility does change in caring for them and all of that. But
Right.
I also feel like, you never were really a father. So I would like for us to build a relationship coming from here. And we've got plenty of time left. So let's not feel guilty about it and let's just move on and make the most of the time that we have. I don't want to
Well, that's nice
feel,
that you can let go of that past and kind of be open to the relationship because I think a lot of people hold on to the anger.
yeah,
Um, I mean,
I have
yeah,
absolutely the
yeah.
anger, the sadness, the disappointment, the, feeling abandoned, all that shit. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I just don't want to hold on to it anymore. So it's either we're doing this or we're not. I do feel like coming to a conclusion is very
Hmm.
healthy and healing, where it's like,
Well,
you're
that's one of the beautiful things about getting older, in my opinion, too. It's like you just kind of, one, you have that more life experience and you're like, okay, I'm going to try to put, at least for me, I'm going to try to put myself in this person's shoes a little bit. Maybe they were, dealing with certain things or having a struggle in their life. And it's probably not necessarily referring to parents necessarily, but
yeah,
just in general, maybe from their perspective, it just wasn't as important in that, and maybe now things are different. Give it a shot, but if you're gonna reach out and try to have that relationship, you got to be willing to kind of let go
oh my
of the
God.
past because if you continue to carry that, you just really can't. You can't really have a real relationship. And my father and I have gotten quite a bit closer over the last probably like 15, 20 years. Really, when Julie came into my life, my grandparents were getting older. Once they passed, I could tell he was really kind of stepping up the effort. And it was a little bit hard to kind of let some things go. Yeah, kind of feeling like where were you? It was a very hard childhood, oftentimes growing up with my mother and my stepfather. And it would have been nice to kind of have that kind of more normal presence in my life.
Yeah.
I came to find out very recently that my stepmom and him actually made the move to Southern California. And then my stepdad and mom moved us like back out within we were there for 2 years, I think, before they moved us back up to Northern California. Apparently, they actually moved down there to be closer to us unbeknownst to me until I was, 49 years old. It was
Yeah.
just kind of crazy. And we've gotten quite a bit closer. I've gotten to know him. And I respect him, and all the things that my mother said about him growing up was just like she just tried to poison us the entire time. And I'm like, no, that's not who he is. That's
Yeah.
obviously your
Your
insecurities.
experience. Yeah,
Yep. And
exactly.
we don't
And
talk at all. We don't talk at all now. So things
yeah,
can definitely change.
change.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, Carolyn, you've had this experience with, I mean, you always kind of held on to the relationship with your mother, but I mean, your
Yeah.
brother did not as much or at all.
Yeah,
And you
we
guys had
had
your own, little,
Yeah, I carried a lot of emotional baggage well into my 30s, mid 30s about my mom, abandonment, whatever. I kind of let go of trying with her when I was young, 16, 17, 18. In my 20s, I was like, not that I completely extra out of my life, but I stopped chasing that, attempting to chase that relationship.
yeah,
then then the roles reversed, and she, as I became an adult, wanted a relationship with me, but that bridge was burned. I was angry, I was
yeah,
bitter, I was hurt, I was, all the things.
yeah. And you're
um
separated for so long that you don't really know that person either.
Right.
Like
well,
you didn't grow up
and
with her. I mean, so it's like day in and day out. It's like you
yeah,
don't,
and you're coming, it's like that childhood pain that you hang on to.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're not even like, I never even really considered what is her story,
yeah, yeah,
what was her perspective, what has she gone through in this experience.
yeah,
Hmm.
So, later when she basically got sick and had, no one, then I had the decision of, do I, you know abandon her in her time of need, or do I step up? And so I stepped up, and I'm very,
hmm,
very glad, I did. And we ended up having, more of a relationship, in the last 10 years of her life, when she
yeah,
needed someone. But it served me very well, served me, to let go of a lot of that stuff, and find out what her story was, what her life was like, the consequences that she lived for the decisions that she made.
yeah,
My brother,
Yeah.
also had some issues, and so he multiple times in his life kind of cut her out. And the last one was for 12 years. He basically didn't speak to her. She did have a funny way of laying on guilt, on us
yeah,
for not giving her time. And of course, we were both coming at that from like, bitch, how
yeah.
dare
Thank you.
you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and so he cut her out for the last 12 years. And even when she was very sick and really dying, he
Yeah,
was like, yeah, no, I'm not, that ship has sailed. And
yeah,
then she died. And we've spoken about that, a few times. And he does have some guilt, because I think there was definitely a side, a perspective, and her life story that he really didn't know. And
yeah,
kind of finding that out afterwards, he, he's like, yeah, it's a bummer that things played out the way they did.
yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. These are hard decisions to make. And they're hard
yeah, I think
decisions to
you,
come to when you even try to cut out a relationship, whether it be your, parents or a spouse or any of that. It's like it takes so much to make that decision that like
yeah,
when the other person comes back and is like, now I'm ready, you're like, F
yeah,
off, dude. I'm like
yeah.
been here for a while and been participating in this relationship. And if you're ready, well, I mean, sometimes people wear out their welcome and it's just and
Well, and you do it for self-preservation. It was,
absolutely. It's
it's never an easy decision. You do
no
it to
to
set
protect yourself.
boundaries and for
Yeah.
self-preservation.
Yeah.
But like Amanda said, as you get older, you're like, wow, everyone's lives are complex. And,
Yeah.
Right.
come to find
Everybody has
out,
a story. Yeah.
Yeah.
everyone has a story, and she had a really fucked up story. And it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, she definitely suffered the consequences of her decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't, at that stage in my life, I didn't need to make her feel
Worse.
any worse
Yep.
than she already
Yeah.
did because she lived it.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. I was really very, very thankful
Yeah.
that,
I'm happy that I did this because I did
yeah,
also see, the recovery in your relationship with,
yeah,
your mother and
Yeah.
saw what you've gone through with your parents. And I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm emotionally aware enough to like say it again. I've said it
Right.
many times to my parent, but um yeah, I think, you also have to ask for what you want in relationships. And then after
yeah,
a
Yeah.
while, you're like, okay, I've asked enough. I am not receiving. And so
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
where I was like, I can move on now.
Yeah.
yeah,
At some point,
I'm
it's,
not gonna feel
yeah.
guilty anymore. I mean,
Yeah. And it does
Susan, like,
become,
yeah,
it
yeah,
does become a little bit more about regret as you get older. There's a few people in my life that I know they're getting older and I need to make some more time. Like my aunt and uncle, like I've
yeah,
been trying to reach out to them. She's having a heart surgery at the end of the month, and I haven't really talked to them. We didn't talk to them for like 2 years because we were so worried some of the other stuff that I was going through was going to come up, and we weren't really allowed to talk to
yeah,
anybody
talk
about
about it.
it. And so, but they were there. I mean, they were really great for my sister Samantha and I growing up because they were like a place where we could go and have kind of a safe space with people that weren't, hard to be around, if you will. And we lost kind of track when I went to school and just kind of life. And they've just been kind of, they never really asked for anything, even though they put so much time and effort into us when we were kids. And now that we're kind of coming back around, they've been so welcoming. And I'm like, I really need to get my act together,
Are these your
see them more.
dad's family or your
No,
mom's family?
this is actually my mom's remaining sibling because she
Oh,
had three
wow.
brothers. Yeah, younger brother. She was the old or is the oldest. The two younger ones have youngest have passed, and so this is her brother and his wife.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and they're actually not far from here. They're in the Bay Area, so we need to go see them. And some of my neighbors are getting older. We used to hang out with them a lot. COVID kind of did a number on me. I'm a little bit of a hermit now because it's
Yeah,
always been
Annie,
kind of
we
Were
talked
you
about that
always a
today, and
hermit?
saying that
yeah.
like it kind of made it very easy to like not see people.
Yeah, it does. You
Um,
just kind of get into your role. I just work more now, and that's always,
exactly.
might as well just work
That's
more
that's
or
also what we talked about.
yeah.
Um, well, Susan, like I wanted to ask you because I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you're the only one who's divorced out of our group. Like, what when we're talking about severing relationships,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
what was like the final straw? Like, what was it that you were like, dude, I just cannot anymore?
Well, I didn't. So, okay. I think there's a little, I mean, how do I put this? My in-laws severed severed the relationship with me because I left their son and made certain decisions that were beneficial for me, not for him, for the
Yeah,
first time in quite a while. So I will say, like, ending that relationship, I would say it's definitely been hard. I loved my mother-in-law. She was great. And I just really appreciated her on so many different avenues. I think that when it comes to like the extended family on my ex-husband's side, I'll want every once in a while I'll get a text message from his cousin who I was close to, who I knew for quite some time as well. We still follow everyone, still follows each other's on Facebook, but that relationship's just it's not there, and nor will it ever be there, nor will it be there come back. I can't ever see us being in what I'd call a relationship again. But I only truly wish them the best. I just find it interesting. I mean, ironically, I'm the only one on this call that his parents are still married.
Mm-hmm.
But I think both my parents had to go through certain choices, and I'm not saying they cut my grandparents out of their life, but I think for their well-being and their family unit, they made certain choices on both sides actually to limit not access, but to basically choose their immediate family over their own parents.
Hmm.
Because they saw the harm that was going on, whether it was with this one a spouse or the harm that was happening to the kid, me and my brother. Um, both sets of grandparents are, I would say, allegedly alcoholics. Not, I don't want to get sued
I
or
mean,
anything,
whose
but
grandparents, whose
I don't want to
grandparents
get
weren't
sued.
alcoholics, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Mine,
yes.
mine. My
And
grandma had
granted,
never drank.
uh,
She was a
Wow.
lunch lady at the local school
uh,
in her teeny town until she was like 90. And my grandpa was
Wow.
just a hoarder. So no, I actually didn't
yeah.
have that in my, oddly
Wow.
enough. Yeah.
My
So I mean,
my
my
parents are grand
parents,
alcoholics.
yeah, I mean, my parent on both sides,
oh
my
yeah, both
parents,
sides
instead
for
of,
me.
they saw a situation where my grandfather would put me and my brother into not dangerous situations, but situations while he was drinking that were not healthy. And
Yeah.
at a certain point, my parents were like, "You're no longer welcome in this household if you've been
Mm.
drinking," and
Mm.
that altered, I think, the relationship with my mom, and also altered the relationship with my mom and her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like
And
that's the thing that happens is when people set up boundaries
yeah,
and other people are like, the boundaries are for us. And when you start setting those, people are like, oh, it's this, I don't like this. And you're like, well, if you
yeah,
don't like this, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I mean, I think I think a lot of people have learned a lot because we talk much more about psychological issues, trauma, self-care. People are, in therapy now. And so I think a lot of people are figuring out how to like set boundaries for themselves and um, heal.
Yeah, it
for
does seem
sure.
like I don't know if it's a generational thing, but it does seem like the therapy and like
Medication.
psychoanalysis is like super trendy. Like even on, Facebook and whatever, it's like all these people trying to figure out how their trauma has, what it's done to their relationships, how they connect with people, how they communicate, and it is fascinating. And I do hope, that people can get through shit quicker. It took me until basically my damn near my 40s. I could say my husband's brother and sister, they're in their 50s and they're still fucking bitter about their dad, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you
If you
guys,
don't
you're
deal with it,
55 years old and you're
yeah.
still letting this affect
Yeah.
you so much. So I think it's I mean, I think it's, I guess, good that it's become more just
Acceptable to talk
popular.
about it because
Yeah,
I think a lot of people have a lot of shame when they're like, "Oh, I don't talk to so and so anymore." I mean, I'm sure this is going to be the first episode that my dad's ever heard, first time he's ever heard me say that I called him an uncle dad and a sperm donor sometimes when I was pissed. When I was
Yeah.
pissed and I was like, "We haven't spoken in so long." I
yeah,
said those things because I was so detached and so angry. And I
yeah,
mean, you all know my man hating phases and all that kind of stuff. That didn't come from nowhere.
yeah, obviously.
So, but yeah, once you can kind of just let it go, I guess. But it's,
It's
it
easier
takes
said
time.
than done.
It's
I
easier said than
remember,
done.
yeah, I remember, I mean, for years, I wanted so badly to not be angry about it. I
Yeah,
just was like, God, I would give anything
anything.
to not be angry about it, but I didn't have that
The t-
skill.
yeah, well, you don't have the
Yeah.
tools,
I
like,
didn't have the tools, yeah. And
but
it does trip me out too that I'm like, it's so wild that I feel like the majority of people, we all have the same damn issues. We all escape childhood with either, some type of freaking abuse, mental, sexual, emotional,
emotional
or abandonment. We
neglect
all
or
have the
abandonment.
same
Yeah, yeah,
damn,
yeah.
everyone's abandoned, everyone's not good enough, not worthy. We're all feeling the same shit.
Except for
It trips me
Susan.
out.
No, I have some of those same
No,
You do.
issues.
sure
Yeah.
she
Okay. Yeah.
does. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not always just from your parents.
Just
I was
It's
from
gonna
your
like,
say,
I
yeah,
think
it
parents.
can
it's
be
It's
from
true.
friends, I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
like the
sometimes you
human
struggle with like just,
Yeah.
condition.
yeah,
Sure.
feeling left out or feeling like left behind. I was talking to a colleague today and he was saying like he had to leave or he felt like leaving a workplace because it was super clicky. And it's like, I mean, you can, all sorts of relationships can kind of affect your day-to-day
Yeah.
Yes,
experience.
I understand.
Yeah.
I was just saying today how much happier I am in not being in, and honestly, yeah, a kind of a toxic relationship. And I almost I basically had to get broken up with because I wasn't willing to break up because I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want it to be on me and I'll stick this out. It's like, what the hell was that? As I'm like, I'm self-actualized and I've been in therapy and I'm healed. And I'm like, maybe
Yeah.
in one relationship, not in another. So
Sometimes you
it's
can't tell because you're so close to it too. It's
yeah,
like yeah.
absolutely. And there's just like, I mean, they're all situational. I mean, this situation was like I felt like I was going to be letting my dead husband down by like
Oh,
leaving a situation that was so not good for me because it was, like kind of our little dream together and I knew he was super pumped about it before he died and I just thought I just don't want to let him down.
Yeah.
And in the long run, it's like, I've never been better.
He wants you to be
yeah.
happy. We
And he
all
wants you to
Yeah,
be happy.
thank you. Everybody was
Yeah.
like, honey, your
Yeah.
husband would just like slit your wrists and his if he saw how this was going on. I mean,
Yeah,
this is not
totally.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a trip. It's a trip
Yeah.
how
Yes.
we're I don't know, all so vulnerable in the same ways. It does trip me out, the human condition sometimes.
Yeah.
I wonder if other cultures in
Yes.
other countries are they all getting out of their childhood with senses of abandonment
It's
and like
trauma. And
low
like,
self-worth and
yeah,
Yeah, is
yeah.
it
like
like the
what
American
is
condition? Because we're
No, I
kind
Very,
of,
what is
mean,
that?
I'll be
yeah.
honest. So I know someone of a very different culture, and this topic has come up several times in that culture. Like, there's still the same things happen, whether it's
Yeah.
So it's a
Is it?
human
uncle,
condition,
Yeah.
not a
yeah,
cultural or
uncles rubbing
societal.
up on you. The mom is telling you you're fat, even to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Um,
expectations that your family puts upon you, and then
yes,
your disappointment if
Yeah.
you're not like,
yes.
doing, all of
So
those.
you
And I
think
think
like
every
even like you think like even like tribes people out in the middle of Africa are like fucking
somebody's got to
feeling
be a
this
little lower on the
too?
that
totem
that
pole.
bitch,
Somebody's
that bitch talk.
totally,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
funny.
I do believe that.
Wild.
Yes, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of like you said. It's the human condition, so it exhibits in different ways depending on what culture you're in. But I assume because when you go and travel, you realize how similar everybody is. Really, we just don't think that we are. But yeah, I think people are suffering with the same stuff. It's
Huh.
just like we have the tools. I'm sure they're like, Jesus Christ, like get over yourselves. I
I
Yeah.
know,
think
but
that sometimes I was like, when am I gonna not be in therapy every week? Like Megan, get
Like
it together. I'm like,
seriously.
I'm gonna run.
but
I can't afford
I
this
also
after a
what
while.
I'm gonna say
Fix
this
yourself.
is that none of us have allowed this to, or I'm saying none of us have allowed this to stunt our growth or cause other addiction, and we constantly blame
Yeah,
everyone else for our
Yeah.
problems. When the
yeah,
reality is, yeah, we've been dealt shit hands throughout life.
yeah,
We survived, we got up, and we went on. And I know a lot of people are very much of the victimhood, and
yeah,
they can't get out of their own way.
yeah,
I will say
Yeah,
though, in
exactly.
defense of, I will say, and I think I've mentioned this before, I'm totally fascinated by this little show called Soft White Underbelly, where this guy does video interviews of people on Skid Row, and he always asks them about their childhood and like
yeah.
Mm.
their experience growing up. And I will say that my little abandonment issue
Is
about my
nothing.
mom is like
Yeah,
freaking
Oh,
nothing. Some
ridiculous.
of
Yeah,
these people they had horrible,
yeah,
yes.
horrible upbringings.
yeah.
And so like they didn't have a fucking chance.
Chance. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean I do.
I want you to remember that when we talk about homelessness sometime in the future, Carolyn.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
We already
I mean,
did, but
I'm not
again,
I
like
yeah,
know, totally. And
heartless.
I'm gonna again, if we bring it back
we'll
up, I just want
probably come
everybody to
around again.
remember that it's not always a choice.
Yeah.
It's sometimes
I mean,
it's
I'm
yeah,
not heartless. I definitely have empathy. It
yeah,
does, yes, definitely some people play the victim card and never really work to overcome some of these things, but
Yeah.
some
Some
people,
people, I mean, like you
oh,
got, yeah, I mean, the things that people have been through, I was like, you need to be on drugs every day to like not have to
seriously,
relive
yes,
this situation. And
yeah,
I will
Yeah.
say, I do want to say, because I think about this all the time where, like when I'm like, oh God, Megan, get over your abandonment, your parental stuff
yeah,
and all that, because it's harder for so many people. But I think the best thing for me was to just say, like, it's okay that I feel bad about this. Like, it's
sure.
okay. Don't let it, like, determine your life and your self worth or any of that. But I think for a long time, I always did the whole, like, so many people have it worse than me. So I just like pushed
So
away the
mine
pain.
doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mine
yeah.
does not matter. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I think the healthiest thing was when I finally just acknowledged it. Like, yeah, this is fucked up. And I've made some decisions in my life. I've probably
Yeah,
dated some guys.
yeah,
Like was
yeah,
all the things when you're like,
yeah,
hey, know that it had an effect on you and it's
yeah,
okay. And I think the more you acknowledge it, then it's easier to like heal and overcome it. But I
yeah,
do think, a lot of people kind of tend to dismiss their hurts
sure.
because it's like worse for everybody. And I just think in general,
Denial
like
don't ain't just a river in Egypt, as they
it's
say.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, it's just, it's okay to acknowledge and also know that like people have had it worse or have harder situations and, worse parental relationships or,
yeah,
But I do
relationships they
think it
can't
says
get
a
out
lot
of.
about somebody that can go through some of this. Like, there's parents out there that beat their kids, molest their
Hmm.
kids, like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
and um to see or hear stories of people just kind of coming out and
yeah,
making something of themselves. I mean, that
Yeah.
says a lot about your character um and the human, in human nature. But
Yeah. And I also don't want people to feel bad when they can't come out of it. I mean, there's some shitty things that have happened to people where like you you can't. Like, it's sad because I'm definitely a believer in past lives and stuff. So I'm like, oh, maybe this was like unfortunately the destiny for them now, and then maybe I don't know, but I
Ooh,
do
maybe we should
believe,
talk about that as a topic, like what
yeah, I
we
like
past
believe
that.
as far as,
Yes,
yeah, well, not
yes.
just past lives, but like,
Incarnation and
yeah,
what
yeah,
happens to you when
yeah,
you die. I like it.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
But I just, I do feel like sometimes like there are just some people they're not going to come out of it. It's like been
yeah.
too traumatic and they're not, and I don't want to say like, oh, you're not strong enough or you're not working
No,
hard enough
no,
at it. It's just like it's in your DNA now. Like the trauma is in your DNA and you were never allowed to. I mean, if you've been
thrive.
abused since you were a child, you've never been allowed to thrive. You don't even know what it is. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm thankful that that was not my situation. And I did tell my dad, I was like, hey, love going to the library. I love jazz. I love blues. I love incense. I love all these things that you taught me. And, like I learned a lot from you. It's just,
Find that common ground. Yeah,
yeah,
it is
exactly.
hard. It is hard as you get older. I don't know.
I honestly feel like it's easier
Do
now.
you? Okay,
I do.
that's
I feel
good.
like it was easier
me
to be
too.
like, yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm more informed about what I'm feeling, how I can set boundaries and all that.
Yeah,
And I think just to go back with what Carolyn said is like, we all know we don't even realize our parents are people until like our
sure.
20s. And so
Yeah,
then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like, their life didn't turn out exactly how they had thought that it would be, or they
Or
maybe
what
have
was their
dreams.
childhood
What was
like?
their
Yeah.
childhood like? And
yeah.
maybe that, so it's like, I think I'm able to understand that a little bit
Yeah.
more when you're young. If that's not my job to understand that, you're my parent, so take care of
That's
me.
true.
That was my
Yeah.
attitude. Like,
Yeah,
I
I think
don't
it's
need
more
to
just
understand this.
calming.
I'm 6 years old. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't need to understand shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, I think it's just
So I think it's
common
gotten
ground for
easier
me
as I've
has
gotten
always
older.
been a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
But well, I know we're getting close to our kind of time here. So a couple just quick follow-up questions. Do any of you guys have any regrets about the relationships, any relationships you may have severed? Any like
None.
No,
none?
No. I mean, I've had to sever friendships. You just outgrow them, and I just want nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
They're just not kind of in your,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the people you surround yourself with, they can really take you places or really bring you down. So I
Yeah.
think
hmm,
Yeah.
that's sometimes you just got to, I know I've severed a few because of that.
Yeah. I think it's as we get older, you also realize like your time is valuable. You don't,
Right.
Yeah.
and it's like you kind of just figure out who is worth that.
I
I know
had a
it sounds
yeah.
kind of cold and cruel, but
Well,
it's kind of, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to waste time with people that aren't going to be interested, don't ever want to ask you anything about yourself. Like they just want to talk and
they
want you
just
as
want to
their therapist.
take.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
want to take. And I'm like, I'm good.
I was talking to somebody earlier today and he kind of said something that I've heard before, but it's been a while. And he said, and it kind of reminded me, I'm like, oh, I should think about that. He said, people will show you who they are pretty early on.
Yeah.
We're,
And
we're
believe
both
them.
in
Hmm.
sales and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can tell if somebody's going to be worth, doing the work for and keeping in touch with. They're going to
Yeah.
show you who they are.
And when they
You
show
just have to
you,
be
believe them,
listening.
believe them. Exactly.
Exactly. And believe them when they
Yeah.
show you. I think if I could tell myself my younger self one thing, that would be it. Like, believe them when they tell you.
Oh, so
Don't,
you have that question. Like when people are always like, well, if you could give yourself a piece of advice, like to your younger self, what would you say? That's something you would say to yourself?
yeah, I would say invest in the stock market sooner,
I always
but
say, I was
other
like,
than
I wouldn't
that,
say anything because that bitch would not have listened.
I know exactly. That's the
But
problem. You
I
don't
know.
listen.
I was like, I wouldn't
That's
have
the
listened to
problem,
anything that I was
man.
going to tell myself then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But
And
ladies,
then
if you are young, invest in the stock market. She's right.
invest,
Or real
yeah,
estate. Or real estate.
both.
Listen,
Yeah, both if you
please.
can. The sooner the better. By the time you're our age, you'd be retired.
Yeah. God.
Had I just done it more consistently.
Yeah.
And then any examples of how not necessarily us, but people in your life have, supported you kind of after you've made these types of decisions, like how friends or family have kind of supported you when, like I can speak from experience. Like I had a wonderful support system when I was going through my family thing the last couple years. Like I could not have done it without you guys. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Couldn't talk a lot about what was going on, but you were all very supportive nonetheless.
Yeah.
What about you, Carolyn? I had a question about you when your mom, was sick, because you didn't really have your brother.
Get to, yeah, as a
So,
support.
like,
And yeah.
who
How
was
did
kind
your
of
dad,
your
yeah, like Kathy and like your dad, were they supportive of you being,
supportive?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were. I mean, I think I everyone knew I had some bitterness, a lot of bitterness I had to get through. I think they all gave me a lot of accolades for stepping up and being there for her when no one really expected me to do that. Not that
Yeah.
they expected me not to, but
Yeah.
that
It's,
expectation
yeah.
wasn't like, you have to do
It's
this.
not,
This
yeah,
is your
exactly.
mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, everyone was like, yeah, no, you're doing it and you're gonna
And I
Little
you're
think
gonna
that's
preview to
great.
when they got older too, probably.
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. But I also think it's great that they didn't put that guilt on you and pressure you because it's like, no, I mean, if you had
Oh no,
chosen not
they were,
to,
I think,
you earned, you
surprised actually.
surprised.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like
They
you
were
earned
like,
that right to be
wow.
like, hey, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Double
I'm
deuces.
sorry
Yeah.
if it's not an obligation for you to take care of me while I'm a child. I don't know why it's all of a sudden expected and reciprocal, like when you're
Yeah.
a grown up.
Yeah,
But I mean, I think
Yeah,
that's
and
that's a very
just,
good point.
it's,
I had a little bit of I'll say I had a little bit of bitterness with my brother that he let me do that all on my
you're
own.
Oh
alone.
yeah. Yeah.
But I've let go of
Yeah.
that too. I mean, I do
Yeah.
know that, we make those decisions for self-preservation, and I know that he was frickin' just he
Hurts.
was doing
He's,
what
yeah.
he had to do
Yeah.
and
Mm.
dealing with it in the way that he could deal with it. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't hold on to any of that, but I was in the beginning like, hey motherfucker, I'm up here,
By
doing a
myself. Yeah.
lot of shit and you're just living your life.
Yeah.
But that was the decision I made. I made
Yes.
that
Yes. Yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
I had to roll with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't hang on to that. That was
Yeah. Good.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Good.
good. Well, thanks everybody for sharing your stories and opinions on everything.
Yeah, we might be able to tap back into this another episode too.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
was it's a deep one. It's a big one.
It is a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to take us out, Sue?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for listening. Opinions on everything. And wait, shit, what was the line?
One more time, please.
Okay. Thanks for listening to this week's Karen's episode. We're opinions on everything and experts on nothing.
Lovely. See y'all next week, guys.
We're the one